Do you like my wavy, wavy hair?
A wavy, wavy hair.
Good afternoon from a very rainy Pacific Northwest, everybody. What's it doing where you are? Finally, we've gotten out of the grip of our cold. I'm still continuing to do is get my stuff done around here in the office. Still trying to get it to be a livable, workable space. But unfortunately, it persists in being a shithole. So, I'm going to carry on with my bagging and boarding. And I have a few other kind of cool things here. As I have advised, always leave yourself a little bit of an unboxed, untouched, nerdish, no matter what you do, what you like, so that you have something for a rainy day. Carrying on with Andre's box. Damn it. I'm not going to do a lot about these. I wanted to show you though, and there is a quick point to be made after I show this dozen, which actually I have some multiple issues, but I'm going to give you, some looks at these covers because they're wonderful. I want to show all of these comic books to you. These are all from the 90s. And while I am glad to have them, okay, there are some excellent characters on the covers and on the inside of all of these books. The lesson of the day can quickly be made that there's no money here, okay? In fact, in certain pound values, I think Andre probably, spent more money on the shipping. But nonetheless, as I got through some of these, and I've just shown you those two New Titans covers, which I have 2 issues of each of those. I have multiple issues. There's some interesting stuff in here that as I started to look at it, yes, this is Batman affiliated. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I realized as I was looking through some of these that they then tie back to other issues which were in this collection, which I showed days ago. These are sidecar tie-ins or jumps between different titles, okay? And so sometimes when you're unboxing a collection, a lot of times I would say, when you're unboxing a collection that you are unaware of what the contents are about, part of the fun, part of the cool nature of it all is that it's kind of like a puzzle piece. Most collectors have a path. They do. Some seem to be like all spread out and crazy, but there is a method to everyone's madness. So as I'm going through and I'm looking at these all obviously came from the same person. And they were just sort of gathered up and taken to a resale where they were found by Andre, or part of these can also be a part of a block buy that he would do with a storage unit or anything else of that nature. But some neat stuff turns up, like the first issue of Azrael. This is a spin-off character from Batman in the 90s that has gained some momentum of its own, enough to give it a issue number 1, which they tout up there in the corner and all that. Like this is a real big, launch. But in all of the books that I'm showing you here, and these next 4 are really pretty cool. Emerald Dawn 2 with Green Lantern. Okay, I'm going to show these fairly quick succession because each of these are 1 through 4 out of 6. So I need to hunt down the other 2 issues of these, because I hate not having a full series. But you find stuff that is cohesive like this, where it's like, oh, okay, here are 1 through 4 out of 6 that this person found. All right. And then you have some other weird stuff that pops up. I've got some coming up on this subject. I've got some really strange Ranger books, some really bizarre stuff that I'm going to get into probably the next episode or so. We're getting through this, and again, this is helping me to get this stuff bagged, boarded, and cataloged. So I appreciate y'all hanging in with me on this topic. The next 2 things I wanted to show you were some Superman memorabilia. So this stuff here is actually, this goes out to you, Rusty. Where are you, man? Superman, okay? This is this is issue 50 of this particular line of Superman, okay? There's probably been more than 50 issues since the 30s. But this is, of course, a historic engagement issue. Not sure, does he get engaged to Lois Lane? I don't know. I'm going to need to read it, obviously. And then he's also got issue 662. This person had the issue of 662 of Action Comics featuring Superman, where this is apparently, and I looked this up just to make sure, this is apparently the first legitimate time that Superman really does expose his alter ego to Lois Lane. So I looked all of these up, and I was thinking, okay, at least I've got something to talk about with the Superman and the Action Comics and stuff that's of interest. Take a guess at what any of those come out to in terms of value on the market today, because of course they used the old computer to look up things and see what their value is today. And as you do, you look at eBay and you look at some of the bottom end prices that you can get, and that's going to tell you basically what you can start negotiations at. And be prepared if you're working in comic books resale. Be prepared for negotiation. But my point is, in this dozen issues of DC, which even has, the first issue of Azrael. It's not the first appearance of the character, but it has these key issues of Superman and Lois Lane in them. There's not a book in here that doesn't top out around $3 if you're lucky. Okay? So in this entire stack, do the math. There's nothing there. And you need to be prepared for that. That's a dozen books out of a box. Which and as I went through and found any of the other stuff, the Marvel stuff, especially the key issue stuff or the sort of foil cover stuff that I've found so far, has been worth $13 if you can find somebody to really start to bend over a barrel about it. If you were to get any of these books graded, they may arguably go for more money, but I wouldn't bet on it. And I wanted to show you that really quickly, okay? Because I want everybody to understand that collectibles and comics and nerd stuff of any kind, die-cast, all of it can turn to absolute worthless dust around your feet. So be careful how much you pile up around you, because it could turn into a desert and all of a sudden you're up to your eyeballs in it. And I am thankfully up to my eyeballs in it because of Andre at the First 117. So thank you, Andre, because this is giving me something to do during a rainstorm. It's giving me something to do to stay out of my wife's way. She appreciates you too. It honestly does add to my collection, because I am a person who genuinely enjoys the art form. And these older issues, though they may not have a tremendous amount of value on a market of any sort, the paper, the ink, the printing style, all of it sort of is a tactile time experience for me. I figured this out recently as I was going through all this. In the shift of the 1990s, when they began to use glossier paper, when they began to use higher impact ink styles, and they used foil covers and everything else like that, in an effort to make their product more valuable, because they needed to up the dollar value of it somehow, some way. They needed us to believe in what we were paying for more. In doing all of this, they got away from the thing that I really, really, really love about comics. And for me, it's about being able to open up an issue of the Avengers, and it's this paper, okay? It's this inking, it's this style, and this is fairly late in the game here, and you know, the pages have stayed fairly white, but you can see they kind of brown up on the edges. But the thing about that is that it takes me back to just before life became absolutely about earning a living. It became about making a mark in the world, or two. There was no internet. You could not work from home. You had to go out and work in the clubs if you wanted to be a sound engineer. It takes me back to just before that shift in my life, where I was riding the Northwestern train back to my house from where I was going to school, and I would have to walk through the newsstand every day. The newsstand at the train station was, they would have wire spinners out there of comic books, and so needing to spend 15 minutes to 40 minutes waiting for my train after school to get home, I would buy these comic books. And then in my collection, there's almost a definitive, just a laser bolt, just a cutoff point where everything became really important in life for a while. And so opening up a comic book of vintage for me is a little bit more even than just appreciating the artwork or the writing that came through from various people. And I want to talk about that coming up here too, how certain writers and artists shaped my life. But this is the next dozen, and unless there's something here that plays your heartstrings, as it does mine, I don't mind having more and more and more of this stuff. Believe me, I don't. Comic books are an easy keep for me. Um, this is like really, this has been really important to me, and it remains important in terms of keeping my sanity, keeping my youth, though I be past 55. Um, Sometimes my wife says I sound old on the channel, and maybe I do. Maybe I do. I'm gonna go buzz my beard. She says I have split ends. Look upon my beard. Do you see split ends? Yes, of course you do. It is. It's gnarly, it's ratty. It's time to buzz it a little bit. Go buzz your beard. It's time. Thank you very much for coming out to Monkey Shine Lab, everybody. I know there's a lot of people out there doing comic book content, model content, diecast content, and action figure content. And I'm going to get this in the mail to my little buddy, Andre the Giant. Because he is. Andre, you were a giant in my life. Thank you for yet another episode, sir. I really appreciate it. You're short, you dress funny, but I like you. And I appreciate everybody out there in our audience. Thank you very much for coming out here to Monkey Shine Lab, everybody. And if you think about it, throw us a subscribe or a like, or, maybe just tell a friend about it. Do you have any sick and twisted friends you think might enjoy this? Getting this close into my face to see my split ends and my beard? Yeah, me neither. All right, folks. I got stuff to do. But I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.